We arrived in San Francisco after a 2-hour drive and ate at some restaurant that specialized in bread. Outside we could see an old jazz musician who kept playing renditions of Michael Jackson songs on his alto sax. Afterwards we walked into some old game shop with antique pinball machines, fortune tellers, and some puppet women who danced in can-can for a quarter. We then left and passed by a street of seafood shops where the smell was overwhelming to say the least. We walked into some gift shop place where the ceiling was decorated to look as if it suffered from an earthquake. Leaving the shop we stood outside Ripley's Believe It or Not since we didn't want to pay to go in, where we then saw some creepy clown who gave free hugs to little boys, of which I didn't find suspicious in the least bit. We walked away into some trippy jungle-themed restaurant with robotic gorillas, elephants, and other stuff where we wandered around looking for a bathroom. Afterwards, we left passing Silverman acting like a statue and went over to Pier 39 where we saw the faraway side some woman with her blue panties showing and a seal who looked dead but actually wasn't. After getting our fill of pictures, we wandered into some outdoor shop area where we saw a performer who resembled David Lynch talk and ramble a lot about corny jokes but did eventually eat fire, put a nail up his nose, and walk in broken glass, so I guess it balanced itself out. Exiting some shops, we saw some guy wearing a cowboy hat who sang some song I didn't like on his guitar. Walking around, I managed to spot some old man whose face looked a bit like Humphrey's, which was pretty cool. We all walked back to the truck where it appeared as if someone had left us a used diaper on the ground. We started driving to the Coit Tower, where on our way we spotted a film crew on a film set shooting some movie I'd probably never see. To get to the tower, we have to wait in a line of cars for about half an hour for a parking spot. Once we managed when we walked into the place which had pictures painted on the wall of the entrance room. We squeezed into an elevator to go to the top where we had an overlook of almost the whole city, but even more impressive to me was the amount of gum people had placed on one of the walls. Eventually we went back down and drove over to the spiraling street where we narrowly drove down and unsure whether we'd make it because of the size of the truck, but of course in the end we eventually did. We drove off towards the Golden Gate Bridge where we passed by multi-million-dollar homes that I didn't even think looked that nice. Once we got to the bridge, we stepped out and walked on it, but it was extremely windy which made it cold, so we went not even halfway across it, took pictures, looked at whatever sights we could see, and went back on the truck and just decided to drive across it. Our trip had ended, the day was late, and so we got onto the freeway that pointed us back to the direction towards home.